Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Terry Koss Show, a wrestling podcast. I'm Terry Koss, and this week I'd like to talk about
the Survivor Series.
The Survivor Series this year was held from the Air Canada Centre in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, which is awesome. That's the country that I'm from. Total attendance was 17,143. Our first match was one of the 3 matches between SmackDown and Raw to see whose teams were better. The first one was Team SmackDown versus Team Raw in the women's match. The women's match consisted of Team SmackDown Live. The match consisted of Team Raw, Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Alicia Fox, and Nia Jax with Dana Brooke, up against Team SmackDown Live, Carmella, Alexa Bliss, Naomi. The match featured Team Raw, WWE Raw Women's Champion Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Alicia Fox, and Nia Jax with Dana Brooke, against Team SmackDown Live, Carmella, Alexa Bliss, Naomi, and the WWE SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch. It was originally going to be Nikki Bella, but she was attacked backstage, and Natalya ended up taking her place. Really cool entrance by Naomi, kind of with that kind of whole rave thing kind of going on. At one point, they're just going at it. Nia Jax takes out every member of Team SmackDown. Like, she tags in one person, knocks them out, knocks all 5 out. Our first elimination, Alicia Fox eliminated Carmella with a kick. So that left SmackDown with 5-on-4. Second elimination, Alexa Bliss eliminated Alicia Fox with Twisted Bliss, which is kind of a twisting splash. That left it 4-on-4. Naomi did an awesome diving crossbody on Nia Jax from the ring to the outside. Next elimination, Naomi was eliminated by Nia Jax with a 10 count. They went to the floor. Nia Jax got to the ring before 10, and Naomi didn't, so that made it 4-on-3 for Team Raw. Next elimination, Sasha Banks was eliminated by Natalya with a roll-up, so that left it 3-on-3. The next elimination, Natalya was eliminated by Charlotte with a big boot, which left it a 3-on-2 advantage for Team Raw. Next elimination, Nia Jax did this really cool spot. Becky and Alexa tried to suplex her, but since Nia was so big and so strong, she double suplexed Becky and Alexa. Next elimination, Nia Jax was eliminated by Becky Lynch with a disarmer. She was able to make Nia Jax tap out, which made it 2-on-2. The next elimination, Alexa Bliss was eliminated by Charlotte with a big boot, so that left it 2-on-1 for Team Raw. Becky Lynch was eliminated by Bayley with a Bayley to belly. So Team Raw won, and Bayley and Charlotte were the sole survivors. Our next match was for the Intercontinental Championship and featured The Miz up against Sami Zayn. Now, Sami Zayn comes out, gets a huge pop from the Canadian fans, him being from Montreal, the Survivor Series being in Toronto, they both in Canada, and they sang his music with just a really awesome entrance. Really good match between these guys. Sami Zayn, of course, did his awesome moonsault did a really cool moonsault off the barricade on the outside onto The Miz. The Miz really worked on Sami's leg most of the match to try to set up for the figure 4 leg lock. Sami Zayn did that awesome jump he does, jumping from inside the ring to the outside. That's always cool. The Miz goes off the top rope. Sami Zayn is able to catch him and hits him with a blue thunder bomb. That's a cool move, only gets 2. And here's the end of the match. Sami Zayn has Miz in the figure 4. The Miz had Sami Zayn in the figure 4. Zayn was able to turn it over and reverse it. And then later on, Sami Zayn got Miz in the figure 4. All of a sudden, the bell rings. And Sami Zayn thinks he won. The ref's like, he didn't tap. It turns out Maurice rang the bell. The match is restarted. And The Miz rolls up Sami Zayn and retains the Intercontinental Championship. Good match. Didn't like the outcome. I will say this, I'm saying it now. For the first match, I thought Team SmackDown Live was going to win. Team Raw ended up winning. The second match, I thought Sami Zayn was going to win. The Miz ended up winning. So, our third match was another SmackDown versus Raw Survivor Series match. This one featured tag teams. Team Raw came out first. First out came Enzo and Big Cass, my current favorite tag team on Raw. They had a good promo as always, and of course, it's Toronto, so Big Cass throws in a Tim Hortons reference. Team Raw consisted of Enzo Amore and Big Cass, the Shining Stars, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, Sheamus and Cesaro, and the Raw Tag Team Champions, The New Day. And of course, The New Day cut an awesome promo as well. Team SmackDown Live consisted of the SmackDown Tag Team Champions Rhino and Heath Slater, Breezango, the Usos, the Hype Bros, and American Alpha. Our first elimination, Breezango was eliminated after Big E and Kofi hit the big ending on Breezango, leaving it 5 teams to 4 for SmackDown. The next elimination, the New Day is eliminated by the Usos after a super kick, which was really surprising. So it left it 4 teams to 4. Third elimination, the Hype Bros were eliminated by Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson after they hit the Magic Killer on them. That leaves 4 teams to 3 for Raw. The Shining Stars were eliminated by American Alpha after an avalanche top rope bulldog, which leaves it 3-on-3. Really cool move. Everybody's on the outside. Heath Slater goes to the top rope and does a stage dive on everyone, just takes everybody out, and it looked really cool. The next elimination happened. American Alpha was eliminated by Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. They hit them with a Magic Killer, and it leads it 3 teams to 2 for Raw. The next elimination, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson eliminated by Rhino and Heath Slater after Rhino gores them, and then it goes to 2-on-2. Rhino and Heath Slater are eliminated by Enzo and Big Cass. That's the next elimination when Cass hits him with a big boot and he launches Enzo, and Enzo hits Rhino with the Boom Shakalaka to make it 2 teams to 1 for Raw. Enzo Amore and Big Cass are the next elimination. They're eliminated by the Usos when the Usos hit him with a super kick and a flying splash. This leaves it 1 team to 1. Cesaro and Sheamus for Team Raw, and the Usos for Team SmackDown Live. Now, Cesaro picks up Jay Uso, swings him 15 times in the Cesaro swing. Cesaro swing is always really cool. Then puts him in a sharpshooter, of course. Everybody in Canada just went nuts for it. Bret Hart, the inventor of the sharpshooter. Tyson Kidd and Cesaro were the tag team champions. Cesaro learned the move from Tyson and, of course, used it. Jay reversed it into a Tequila Sunrise. The best way I can describe Tequila Sunrise was once used by Conan in WCW. It's kind of an arm and leg trap. I don't really know how to explain it. If you just look up Tequila Sunrise, WWE, WCW, you'll figure it out. Cesaro is able to get up and reverses it into a sharpshooter. And Jey Uso taps out. Before he taps out, Jimmy comes in the ring. Sheamus bro kicks him. And Team Raw wins. And Cesaro and Sheamus are your sole survivors. It's really cool outside of the ring. Cesaro and Sheamus are outside. And there's a Bret Hart fan. And you know how Bret Hart used to give a fan his sunglasses. So a fan gave Cesaro some Bret the Hitman Hart sunglasses to try on, and he tried them on, and then he gave them back, and so that was kind of a cool pop kind of thing. So our fourth match was for the Cruiserweight Championship. It featured the champion, the Brian Kendrick. Again, I don't know why I'm doing this. I keep doing it later. For the tag teams, I thought Team SmackDown Live was going to win. Turns out it was Team Raw. For the Cruiserweight Championship, we had the Brian Kendrick, the champion, against Kalisto. This one, I really didn't have an opinion either way. Whoever would have won would have been fine. The stipulation was, in this match, if Kalisto won, then the Cruiserweight division would come to SmackDown Live. One of the highlights of the match, the biggest parts of the match, Kalisto hit a standing Spanish fly from the ring apron on the Brian Kendrick. Kendrick has Kalisto up on the top rope, throws him down, and gets him in the captain's hook. Kalisto tries for the ropes. Kendrick brings him back, but Kalisto is able to reach the bottom rope. Kalisto then hits the Salida del Sol on Kendrick. Kendrick kicks out of that. Towards the end of the match, as Kalisto is going to the top, Baron Corbin comes in, hits the Brian Kendrick, Kalisto goes out to jump on Corbin, but Corbin catches him and hits him with the end of days. So the Brian Kendrick wins by disqualification and retains the Cruiserweight Championship. Our fifth match was Team Raw, the team of Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, Roman Reigns. Our fifth match was another 5-on-5 Survivor Series match, SmackDown versus Raw. Team SmackDown Live, which consisted of AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, Randy Orton, Shane McMahon, and Bray Wyatt, with their mascot, James Ellsworth. Ellsworth came out first, got a huge pop. I thought that was awesome for Ellsworth. They went up against Team Raw, which consisted of the WWE Universal Champion Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, the WWE United States Champion Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and the big man, Braun Strowman. Now, the eliminations happened in the match like this. Dean Ambrose was eliminated first by Braun Strowman after Braun hit him with a running power slam. Braun Strowman was eliminated after a countout. Kevin Owens was eliminated after he hit somebody with the list of Jericho, and the list just went all over the place. And Chris Jericho's just scrambling because, the list is, his thing. That's what he does. So Jericho goes to pick up the list. It gets RKO'd by Randy Orton, and he's eliminated. Shane McMahon goes for actually, one cool part in the match. Braun Strowman is out on the table, and Shane McMahon jumps and hits him through the table. Again, I'm kind of going in backwards and forwards, but at one point, Braun Strowman was just about to get into the ring before the 10 count, and it was 8, 9, 10. You could see Braun was hanging on the ropes, and he couldn't quite figure out why he couldn't get in, and all of a sudden you see a hand underneath it. It's James Ellsworth. So Ellsworth helps SmackDown Live in that way by helping to eliminate Braun Strowman. Of course, Strowman sees this, just gets enraged, goes after Ellsworth. They go to the top of the ramp. Strowman picks him up and just throws him through a table. So James Ellsworth at least had that contribution to the match. Shane McMahon tried for the coast-to-coast on Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was in the corner. As he was going for the coast-to-coast, Roman spears Shane. They goes for a 3 count, but the referee can see that Shane is not looking so good, and so Shane was unable to continue, so Shane is eliminated from the match. Our next elimination was AJ Styles, who was eliminated by Seth Rollins. This happened as, Dean Ambrose and AJ Styles, they don't like each other. So as AJ is fighting Rollins, Dean comes in and roughs him up. Rollins and Reigns and Ambrose reform the Shield somewhat, and they hit AJ with a triple power bomb through the announce table. Seth Rollins pins him and eliminates him. The next elimination, Seth Rollins gets eliminated by Bray Wyatt. How did this one go? Seth goes for, I think, a dive or something, and Randy Orton just hits him with this awesome RKO. He's coming off the ropes for the frog splash or something like that, and Randy just hits him with an RKO out of nowhere, and it just looked cool. Bray Wyatt covers him and gets the elimination. So this leaves it 1-on-2. Well, for Team Raw, we have Roman Reigns. On Team SmackDown Live, we have Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. Now remember, during the course of the night, Team SmackDown has already won the first 2 Survivor Series matches. The women's match, sorry about that. Team Raw has won the first 2 Survivor Series matches. The women's match and the tag team match. So, they really got to get their stuff together. And in the end, Roman Reigns is eliminated by Bray Wyatt with Sister Abigail, and Team SmackDown Live gets their 1 Survivor Series win of the night, and the sole survivors on that team are Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. Our main event of Survivor Series was, of course, the and very, very anticipated match of Goldberg against Brock Lesnar. Of course, how the story goes so far. Goldberg is doing press for WWE 2K17. If you order 2K17 by a certain point, you unlock Goldberg as a playable character. Goldberg, of course, does press for WWE 2K17, and he talks to Jonathan Coachman on ESPN SportsCenter. And Coachman says to him, "Do you think you would ever return to the WWE?" And Goldberg said, "It's possible." And Coachman said, "Who would you fight?" And so Goldberg says, "I'd be remiss if I didn't give Brock Lesnar a rematch." Of course, the first match they had was at WrestleMania 20. Back in WrestleMania 20, Goldberg ended up defeating Brock Lesnar. So the next week, Paul Heyman comes out, issues a challenge on behalf of Brock Lesnar. The next week, we see the return of Goldberg, who says, "Okay, I'm ready to fight." The next week, Lesnar comes out and accepts the challenge. The next week, there's a stare-off between Goldberg and Lesnar, and Goldberg just runs through all the security, just waiting to get Lesnar. So, of course, we've had the build-up for a month and a half. Everybody is ready for this match. So first out comes Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman. That's all good. Then out comes Goldberg, who does the same entrance as he's done for years and years. The guy knocks on the door. "Goldberg, we're ready." And so Goldberg comes out, and of course here the fans, "Goldberg, Goldberg." And so, Goldberg comes to the top of the ramp, and of course the pyro is there, and he, of course, does his cool stuff, and so the match begins. I predicted that Goldberg would win this match. Again, going back, I know I keep doing this, I don't know why. The last match, SmackDown Live versus Team Raw, I picked Team SmackDown Live to win. I would say between Raw and SmackDown, I'm a SmackDown Live guy. I like their brand better, and, So anyways, we have the match begins. Brock Lesnar pushes Goldberg into the corner. Goldberg is able to kind of get out. Brock Lesnar stands there. Goldberg spears Brock Lesnar. Of course, the fans just go nuts. Brock Lesnar tries for some offense. Goldberg spears him again. And then all of a sudden, Goldberg sets him up for the jackhammer. Has him in the front face lock, picks him up, boom. 1, 2, 3. I'm watching it and I'm like, what on earth? How did he beat him so darn fast? This to me didn't make any sense why they had the match, which was so slow. It was under 2 minutes on Wikipedia. It says the match was 1 minute and 26 seconds. You have all this build up. You have Brock Lesnar saying he's going to destroy Goldberg. Goldberg saying the same thing about Brock Lesnar, and yeah, he beats. I'm glad he won, but I was surprised at how short the match was, and I don't know why the match was as short as it was. Yeah, so that was Survivor. Well, it was cool at the end of the pay-per-view. Of course, Goldberg brought out his son. This, of course, being the first time Goldberg's son has ever seen him wrestle. So that was a cool moment. Were your predictions? So that was Survivor Series 2016. Were your Survivor Series picks different than mine? If they were, feel free to tell me on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Terry Koss Show Podcast, or tweet me at Cheeto Koss, CheetoKoss, and tell me who did you think was going to win, what was the best match, what were some cool things that happened, and yeah. I've been a fan of Survivor Series for a really long time. When I was a kid, it was my favorite pay-per-view because I loved the team elements, and it was cool because all the teams had names, had all these superstars having to work together as a team. Survivor Series started in 1987, the year I was born, so I feel I kind of have a connection to it somehow. Right now, I would like to do a list of, maybe not the best, but my favorite Survivor Series teams in Survivor Series history. First off, in 1989, the team of the Ultimate Warriors. the Ultimate Warrior, the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, who defeated the Heenan family, Bobby Heenan, Andre the Giant, Haku, and Arn Anderson. In 1990, one of my favorite teams was the Warriors, WWF Champion, the Ultimate Warrior, the Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal, and the Texas Tornado, who defeated the Perfect Team, Mr. Perfect and Demolition, Axe, Smash, and Crush. What was different about 1990 had what they called a match of survival. All the guys who survived on all the teams would go into a second Survivor Series match. You had good guys against the bad guys. So you had the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan, who were the sole survivors for their teams, and Tito Santana, who was the sole survivor from his team, up against the bad guys. The very first team to win a Survivor Series match and have all four members as that had all four members survive was the Visionaries. That team consisted of Power and Glory, Hercules and Paul Roma, the Warlord, and Rick Martel. They were joined by Ted DiBiase, who was the sole survivor on his team, and they ended up losing the match to the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan. We go a few years later to 1995. Really cool team, the Dark Side, The Undertaker, who of course at this point is wearing that kind of mask thing. That happened because I believe Mabel did like a leg drop on his face and he broke a couple of bones in his face. And so Undertaker was wearing that kind of white half mask kind of thing. So he looked kind of cool. So that team consisted of The Undertaker, Savio Vega, Fatu, and Henry O. Godwin. And they defeated the team of the Royals, King Mabel, Jerry the King Lawler, Isaac Yankem DDS, and Hunter Hearst Helmsley. In 2001, a really good team was Team WWF. This consisted of The Rock, Chris Jericho, The Undertaker, Kane, and The Big Show. And they defeated The Alliance, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Rob Van Dam, Kurt Angle, Booker T, and Shane McMahon. We all know what happened with that match. Team WWF won, so they beat The Alliance, WCW, and ECW, and it went from there. In 2003, another cool team was Team Austin. This match was Eric Bischoff's team against Steve Austin's team. If Eric Bischoff won, Stone Cold Steve Austin had to leave Raw and they could not be co-general managers anymore. If Austin won, he either still got to be general manager or he got to be the full general manager of Raw. So his team consisted of Shawn Michaels, Rob Van Dam, Booker T, Bubba Ray Dudley, and Devon Dudley. And unfortunately, they were defeated by Eric Bischoff's team, Team Bischoff, Chris Jericho, Christian, Randy Orton, Scott Steiner, and Mark Henry, with Eric Bischoff, Theodore Long, and Stacy Keibler. One of the coolest teams, I think, that was put together in all of Survivor Series was in 2006 when you had Team DX, Triple H and Shawn Michaels, CM Punk, the Hardy Boys, the Intercontinental Champion Jeff Hardy, and Matt Hardy. That's just an awesome team right there. If you can ever track down the footage of this match, I would suggest you do. The opening is just awesome. This is CM Punk when he first starts out. They're in Philadelphia. The crowd is behind him. The crowd is behind the Hardy Boys. The Hardy Boys are still teaming at this point. And you got Triple H and Shawn Michaels as DX. That's just awesome. They defeated Team Rated RKO, which consisted of the World Tag Team Champions at the time, Edge and Randy Orton, Johnny Nitro, Mike Knox, and the Cruiserweight Champion Gregory Helms. And they had Melina and Kelly Kelly in their corner. Another cool team during this Survivor Series was kind of the old school team of the Legends, Ric Flair, Sergeant Slaughter, Dusty Rhodes, and Ron Simmons with Arn Anderson, who defeated the Spirit Squad, Kenny, Johnny, Nikki, and Mikey with Mitch. In 2009, a cool team was Team Kingston, Kofi Kingston, Montel Vontavious Porter, Mark Henry, R-Truth, and Christian. The little promo they have in the locker room before they do the match is just, oh, it's so good. They ended up defeating Team Orton, which consisted of Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, Ted DiBiase, CM Punk, and William Regal. And rounding out my list, in the year 2014, cool team there. You had Team Cena up against Team Authority. If Team Authority won, they would still be in power. If Team Cena was able to win, they would knock the Authority out of power. On this, you had Team Cena, John Cena, Dolph Ziggler, The Big Show, Eric Rowan, and Ryback. And they defeated Team Authority, Seth Rollins, Kane, Mark Henry, Rusev, and Luke Harper, with Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, J&J Security, Jamie Noble, Joey Mercury, and Lana. This was, of course, the WWE debut of Sting, who indirectly or whatever helped Team Cena get the win, and they knocked the Authority out of power. So, yeah. I have, really dug Survivor Series for years and years. Have you guys always been fans of Survivor Series? What are some of your favorite teams that have competed over the years in Survivor Series? Again, let me know on Facebook or Twitter. That'll about do it for this week. I'd like to thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you had as much fun listening to me as I did talking to you. Be sure to follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/Terry Koss Show Podcast. And be sure to follow me on Twitter at Cheeto Koss. That's at CheetoKoss. And as always, if you find a cool match, send a link my way. You hear a cool theme song, send a link my way. For Terry Koss, I've been Terry Koss. I'll see you next week.